All right, let's talk about something that can completely change the game for you. We're going to explore a mindset that takes your work from just being another post online to a story people genuinely can't get enough of. It's all about shifting your perspective from creator to director.
Okay, let's just get right to it with a question that I think hits home for a lot of us. You're putting in the hours, you're making stuff, but it feels like you're just shouting into an empty room. What if I told you the problem isn't your content at all, but the mindset behind it?
And look, here's the bottom line. It's so simple, but it's everything. Your current results are a perfect mirror of your current mindset. So if you want new results, you can't just hustle harder, you actually have to think differently. You need a completely new framework.
And that leads us right into our first big idea. This is an inside game. It's so tempting to chase the latest tactics and strategies, but the real war for success, that's won or lost right between your ears.
Now, check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about a 90-10 split. 90% of your success comes down to personal development. It's about what you're thinking, what you're consuming every day, and what you choose to believe is possible. That other 10%, that's just the how-to stuff, the tactics.
And this is the core principle right here. Real growth isn't about just piling more stuff on top of a weak foundation. It's about having the courage to tear down your old beliefs and replace them with new, way more powerful information.
So, what is this new framework? Well, we call it the movie studio mindset. And this is the fundamental shift from just randomly posting stuff to intentionally directing your entire narrative.
Think about it for a second. A movie director doesn't just randomly point a camera and hope for the best, right? No way. They choose the characters, they craft the storyline, they set the mood for every single scene. They're intentional about every frame. That's the level of command we're aiming for.
And here's how this actually breaks down in a practical way. Your pieces of content, those are now the episodes in your show. You and your audience, you're the characters, each playing a role. And your core message, the thing you stand for, that's the storyline that ties it all together.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do you start applying this? Well, once you decide you're the director, you have to get comfortable with the spotlight. You have to embrace being seen and choose what kind of character you're going to play.
The second you put your work out into the world, you are on stage. You are under a microscope. And that's not something to be afraid of. It's a reality you can actually use. See, being judged, whether it's positive or negative, it means you're being seen. And being seen is always the first step.
And when you're in that spotlight, you have a really big choice to make. You can either be a fault finder, that's the person who just complains and points out what's wrong. Or you can be a problem solver, someone who sees those exact same faults but uses their platform to build valuable solutions. That second path, that's where all the influence is.
Now here's a key thing to remember, and it's a trap a lot of people fall into. Not everyone is going to see the value in what you're offering. And you know what? That's totally fine. Your job isn't to convince everybody. It's to attract the people who already get it. That's your audience.
So once you start attracting those right people, how do you keep them? Well, it leads right into our next point. You don't get them with one viral hit. You earn their trust by building a consistent story over time, just like a killer TV show. I want you to think about your favorite show. Episode 1 sets the scene. Episode 2 builds on the core themes. And by the third or fourth episode, you get the characters, you know what they're about, and you can almost predict their next move. That predictability isn't boring. It's what creates a real connection. It builds trust.
But here is the secret sauce. This is the magic formula. You want them to predict your message, but you want them to stay curious about your delivery. They should always know what you stand for, but be excited to see how you're going to say it in your next episode.
And this just hammers home a really tough but critical rule of being visible. Look, getting negative comments can sting, for sure, but it means people are actually paying attention. The real enemy, the true sign that you're failing, is being completely invisible. Because no attention means absolutely no growth.
All right, you ready to go next level? Because this is where the master directors play. They don't just react to the scene that's happening right now, they see 3 scenes ahead. They understand the message behind the message. This is all about foresight. So let's look at a classic real-world example you see in the news all the time. On day 1, all the news is focused on official A. Then day 2, bam, out of nowhere the headline is that a totally different person, official B, just got fired. Then by day 3, the real story comes out explaining the actual reason. Most people are just reacting to the daily drama.
And that's the huge difference, isn't it? Most people are just passengers, reacting to the headlines of the day. They see the firing and they're shocked. But winners, the directors, they learn to anticipate these moves. They see the patterns and they understand where the story is really going.
This is how you can train your brain to see what's really going on. Start breaking down everything you see like this. First, look for the hook. That's the sensational headline designed to grab you. Then look for the narrative, the official story, the spin. And finally, you have to dig for the message, the true underlying reason for what's happening. If you practice this, you will start to see the world in a whole new way.
And if we go back to that political story, the official was removed not for something they did, but for something they failed to do. And this points to a universal truth for any of us. Failing to meet expectations, failing to deliver, failing to be consistent, that inaction has massive consequences.
So, let's bring this all home. This isn't about being a passive person just consuming information or being a random creator just throwing stuff out there. It's about taking the reins. It's about deciding to be the director of your own story.
So to recap the entire movie studio mindset, you got to think deeper than the surface level stuff. Start seeing the patterns that everybody else misses. Build that trust through consistency. Be bold enough to actually get noticed. And above all else, always deliver real value that solves problems.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Take a hard look at what you're doing right now. Are you truly directing your story with intention, or are you just another actor in the crowd, posting randomly and just hoping for the best? The choice, like always, is yours to make.
On January 1st, the world will experience something unlike anything. It is the day the Hustleverse officially makes its debut. Welcome to the Hustleverse will be the first installment of the greatest collection of edutainment music to ever be created for the Hustleverse, and your first opportunity to get access to a movement designed to inspire, motivate, and fuel real hustlers. 2026 album of the year has arrived, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Everybody got a speech. Everybody got a quote. But when it's time to lift something heavy, that's when you see who's real. Talkers and builders. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile, one bring tools for the fix, one love the sound of success, one love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, cause the fruit tell the difference. I seen them type facts, then they vanish when it's action. Whole timeline full of hype but no traction. They know every saying, every caption, every line, but can't produce one result if you give them the time. They'll debate you for hours, try to win with a phrase, while a builder take 10 minutes and change his whole day. I ain't mad at talking, words can spark a flame, but if it don't turn to work, it's just smoke with a name. I come from where the block had to share. If one guy to play, we made room at the chair. Now I watch these lone wolf types bragging online, hold back in they bio, but but they die on that grind. So I built me a system, put a map in the dirt, cause the truth ain't loud, it's consistent at work. If you can't carry bricks, don't call it love. I'm building a legacy, not a common club. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile, one bring tools for the fixing, one love the sound of success, one love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, yeah, cause the fruit tell the difference, yeah. I used to take it personal, like why they don't support. Then I learned most folks clapping got no strength to live more, yeah. They tired from their own stones, they drowning in their own doubt. So they cheer for a second, then disappear when you're out. But I still keep receipts, cause patterns don't lie. If you only show up when it's easy, you not mine. See, a builder ain't perfect, builder bruising still here. Builder shaky some days, but he faithful to fear. Builder asks for the blueprint, not the gossip, not the tea. Builder say, show me steps, not tell me what to believe. Talker love being seen, camera hungry, ego fed. Builder love being solid, hands dirty, goes ahead. Talker chase validation like a drug in the night. Builder chase elevation, turn pain into a light. So when I pick my circle, I ain't picking by fame, I'm picking by effort. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. Different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fixes. One love the work when it's missed. One move with the builders. Decision day, yeah, that fork in the road. Either stay in the crowd or commit to the code. Cause legacy get messy when your message ain't clear. They'll fight over who you were in a race while you're here. So I speak with precision, no fog in my tone. Who I am, what I do, what I'm building, set in stone. I'm building with believers, not browsers on the fence. Cause I like what you're doing, ain't the same as investment. Some can share a link, but can they help you build? Can they hold you accountable when you're ready to quit? Can they tell you the truth when your feelings get loud? Can they stay 10 toes when the wave hit the crowd? That's a builder. Someone solid when the spotlight gone. Someone playing with you daily till the harvest long. So if you want the freedom, bring discipline too. Cause the talk feel good, but the build pull you through. Yeah. Talkers make noise, builders make history. Choose who you are, and choose who you build with.
I walked away from my last job with about $2,500 in my account. No safety net, no perfect setup, no guarantees. And nah, I'm not telling you to do that, but I am telling you this. There comes a point where your comfort zone starts costing you more than your risk ever will. I stayed long enough to learn what I needed, and then I made a decision. Not because I hated the job, but because I knew I was built for something different. That decision didn't make life easier, it made me stronger, and everything I've built came from that moment of choosing me. So let me ask you, how long you gonna keep knowing and not moving? You don't gotta jump, but you do gotta start. Comment hustle, and I'll show you a path that actually makes sense.
I rewrote the intent, welcome to the mindset, movie studio mindset. I ain't staring at a screen, I'm standing in control, whole studio in my reach.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 47, day 5, and we are right at 15 minutes into today's challenge. And you know what today is? Today is what we call Freedom Friday. And you know something? I got so excited during the intro that I didn't even play the Freedom Friday theme song. I got so caught up. I was so caught up in my head just thinking about how excited I am. I'm I tell you guys all the time how excited I am about everything that's going on, all of the opportunities that we have, right? But I got so caught up, I didn't even realize I wasn't playing the Freedom Friday theme song because that Talkers and Builders is so powerful. It's so powerful. I went straight to it. But you know, we going to play it anyway. We're going to play that Freedom Friday song. And why? Because today is exactly that. It's Freedom Friday. Now, I don't want to keep you guys too long today, but I want to share with you some helpful information. And I want to continue to share with you, the things that you need to learn on a daily basis. But I'm going to allow one of my favorite business partners, the AI, to continue to deliver the messages to you guys. I have something that I want to share with you that's going to help give you a insight into where we are going, the evolution or the next level of the hustleverse. Now, when we talk about Freedom Friday, it's great to have that one particular day where you feel as though you're free, right? That everything is taken care of. You've finished your last day at work. It's your Friday, hopefully for you guys, and you're feeling like you can enjoy the weekend. But hopefully you're enjoying the weekend, but also including your online business in that weekend activity. Now, one of the best ways to include your business in your weekend activities is to make sure that you have a business that is fun and exciting and creative. Now, I know there's a lot of people online that have businesses, but their daily activities are boring and mundane, and they kind of dread, doing those activities. But the great thing about what we have, and the great thing about, how things upgrade and progress and how the technology gets better and better, we have ways of making our online business fun and creative. And we have ways of designing it so that we can actually acquire more freedom from a financial standpoint, and what's also as equally valuable and important, freedom from a time, you know, from a free time standpoint. We want that time freedom also so that we can enjoy things that's going on outside of the online life, right? So some of us, I love being online. So that's my passion. I'm passionate about it. I love creating content on a daily basis. So even though I have time freedom, I can do just about anything I want. If I wanted to go on a vacation for a week, 2 weeks, a month, take my laptop with me, I'm able to do that. I'm not restricted to staying in one central location. But no matter where I go, I would always be drawn back to my online life. Being able to create content, being able to, speak with you guys Monday through Friday and also throughout the weekend. So I'm looking outside. I see the weather's nice out, the trees, everything is bright, it's sunny. the traffic's going by, and I want to spend some time sitting outside. And you might have other things that you want to spend your time doing. But due to the fact that you have other things that require your attention, you have less time to spend doing the things that you like and love the most. So, in today's Freedom Friday, we want to focus on activities that can actually free you up so that you can have more time. Now, money isn't everything, but time. Time is something that you can't get back. Time is something that you can't necessarily make more of. Now, if you know that you're going to be gone in a matter of, let's say, 5 years, sounds like a long time until the clock starts ticking. But the only way that you can possibly speed that, well, make that longer, is to do some things to improve your health, right? You might be able to extend that time frame if you do things to improve your health, change your diet, start working out, start, you know, doing the things that will extend that lifespan. But generally, you don't know when that clock is going to strike zero, and you don't know if even making those life changes, eating healthier or working out more, you don't know for a fact that that's extending the lifespan that you would have had if you didn't do those things. Now, let's just be honest. Now, I believe that it contributes to you living a stronger, longer life, but we don't know that for a fact that things would be different if you were to, you know, do those daily things as far as eating better and working out and doing things like that to actually extend your life. It's not necessarily a guarantee. So I want to help you with what I believe is more of a guarantee. Things that will help you get back more of your time freedom. And one of the best things that I found is being able to rely on what's going to be your best friend and your best business partner going forward. And that is the AI. So they asked the question of, is the AI truly ready to take over? Are you ready to allow the AI to do, the majority of the heavy lifting? I believe that we are. I believe that we're ready to allow the AI to do more of the heavy lifting, not give it full control, not give it full access to all of our important information. We don't want it being able to, see, you know, security sensitive information about us and being able to do whatever it wants to do with it. We still want to be able to oversee the process. But if it can take care of 90 to 95% of the activities, why not let it do its job so that we can have more of the time freedom that we've always wanted? So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start out with that theme song, that Freedom Friday theme song, right? Because I can't go without sharing that with you, because we have to keep the vibe going. We have to keep with consistency. We have to display it the same way we talk about it. And since it's Freedom Friday, we're going to play that Freedom Friday song. But then we're going to go into something else after that. We're going to continue on the show and allow our business partner to do all of the heavy lifting. So right now, I'm scrolling through my content and I'm looking for that Freedom Friday video, and I'll have it up for us shortly. And then we're going to go right into that pertinent and very powerful information from our business partner, the AI. And the one thing that I'm so excited about now is, I'm glad that I got that external hard drive, that 2 GB hard drive, because I knew that I was going to need it. I started backing up my information onto the external hard drive and started clearing off my laptop because, of course, now I plan on creating a whole lot more content with the advancement of, my favorite AI tool, which is Video Express. And next up, Artistly, my other favorite AI tool, it's going to be getting its upgrade. And with that, you know, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And I just can't wait to see what I'm able to create. And I want to be able to create a whole team of entrepreneurs that want to do the same, that want to create something that's fun and also profitable, and also give you that time freedom along with it. So I'm going to fade to the back and we're going to get it started first with that Freedom Friday.
Freedom ain't the weekend. It's a mindset. It's that moment you realize your time is the real currency. We don't clock out. We cash in on purpose. Welcome to Freedom Friday. With vision, Friday end with proof. I ain't build no luck, I built the truth. 17 weeks, no breaks, no flinch. Consistency, my cloth, can't tear an inch. The grind feels sacred when you know your lane. Turn struggle to syllabus, pressure to gain. I used to chase weekends, now I own my days. Design my time, redefine pay. Boss of my rhythm, freedom in sight. Every scroll I wrote got another so right. They talk hustle, but they miss the plan. Work for peace, that's the real demand. From the live to the link to the legacy taught. I ain't sold out, I sold thoughts that bought. Every small trickle now flows like rain. Freedom Friday, I broke those chains.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Let go that fear, we rise and strive. Strong all we rise.
I earn my rest cause I earn my grind. Peace ain't cheap when you bought your time. Every no I heard was a lesson taught. Every delay was a seed I bought. From comment credits to crowns of faith. Freedom Friday ain't a date, it's a state. Made discipline sexy, consistency cool. I ain't follow they trend, I rewrote the rule. Hustle, berry, sing the souls back home. While I talk numbers on the microphone. Edutainment the vibe, we built this bridge. Music meet money on the same bridge. Friday ain't weak, it's strong by design. Freedom the fruit of a disciplined mind. Celebrate now, we ain't done by far. We ain't chasing weekends, we chasing stars.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Let go that fear, we rise and strive. Strong all week now.
They say the grind don't sleep, I let peace work shift. I ain't burnt out, I refine my gift. Scroll after scroll, turn story to seed. Now faith pay interest on everything I lead. I ain't waiting on Friday to feel alive. Every day now got that freedom vibe. No clock in, no boss tone calling. Self-made CEO of my morning. Used to measure worth by the payday sums.
Now I measure peace by how calm I become. From dark weeks to bright ends we grow. Freedom ain't luck, it's what we know. Built my legacy off discipline, say. Now every Friday feels like heaven's pay. Hustle, bear, let and berry harmonize. Freedom Friday, we monetize the rise.
It's Freedom Friday. We made it through the grind. Oh yeah. Time to free your peace of mind. Strong all week now, watch us fly. It's Freedom Friday. We built this life. We built this life. We built this life.
You know that feeling when you finally log off on a Friday afternoon?
Oh, the best feeling.
Right. The tension just sort of leaves your shoulders, you shut your laptop, and your brain sends this very clear signal that says, we made it.
Yeah, survival mode deactivated.
Exactly. But what if that exact sigh of relief is actually the most dangerous point in your week?
Ooh, that's a shift.
Yeah. So today we're doing a deep dive into a survival guide for builders, side hustlers, basically anyone trying to scale a vision. We are looking at a really fascinating framework from an online marketer named Markel.
Right, from his live challenge.
Yeah, specifically from day 39 of his Live Hustlers 10-minute-a-day challenge. And our mission today is to explore how a bizarre weather day in Virginia, a live broadcast that went horribly wrong, and a $7 AI system all point to one brutal truth.
Which is?
That treating temporary comfort as permanent security is just the fastest way to lose your momentum.
It really is.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because Markel introduces this concept of Freedom Friday. Now, for most people, Friday afternoon means coasting. But he argues that if you are building something, it is absolutely not a signal to coast. It's actually a signal to stay ready.
It's the ultimate false summit,
Yeah.
We are so socially and honestly biologically conditioned to view the end of the traditional work week as a finish line. The dopamine hits, and our brains just kind of trick us into thinking the survival task is over.
Right. The predator is gone. We can rest.
Exactly. And Markel tackles this harsh reality head on by illustrating it with this very literal shift in his environment. He tells his audience about this bizarre weather day in Midlothian, Virginia, where he basically experienced 4 distinct seasons in a matter of hours.
Oh, right. I remember this part. He says the morning started out warm and sunny, just a beautiful day.
A total trick.
Yeah. Then suddenly it started raining. A few hours after that, the rain actually turned into freezing snow.
In Virginia.
Yeah. And then by the late afternoon, the clouds broke, the sun came back out, and it was warm again. All in a single day.
Wow.
And he uses this to highlight how dangerously reactive people are to, temporary good conditions. The second the sun peeks out, people immediately take off their heavy coats, they get comfortable, and the result...
Temperature plummets again.
Yep, the temperature drops, and they get physically sick.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is just a brilliant psychological metaphor for business growth. He warns that, while you can get physically sick from unpredictable weather, you become financially sick from letting your guard down in your business.
Man, that's so true.
There is this cognitive trap where just because your current systems are, running smoothly, or maybe you had a sudden spike in sales on a Thursday, you just assume you've reached this permanent plateau of success.
Right, like you've conquered the mountain.
Exactly. But the market is just like that Midlothian weather.
Yeah.
The algorithms will change, the economic climate will shift.
He actually uses this really great phrase. He says, you can take off your work boots, the ones you wear for your 9-to-5 job, and put those in the closet for the weekend. That's fine.
Right.
But you need to immediately lace up your business boots for your own enterprise.
Oh, I love that.
It reminds me, honestly, of the psychology behind dieting.
How so?
Well, it's like thinking a fitness journey is permanently over just because you had, one fantastic weigh-in on a Friday morning.
Oh, no, I know where this is going.
Right. You look at the scale, you see your target number, and your brain says, mission accomplished. So you order the massive pizza, you completely skip the gym all weekend, and by Monday, the water weight is back and you've lost all your physiological momentum.
Yep.
You acted like a temporary win was a permanent state of being.
That is the exact psychology of consistency that Markel is attacking here. He actually references a milestone he hit during his live broadcast, his 100th video.
A huge milestone.
It is. But he specifically points out to his audience that the video celebrating that milestone was from 19 weeks prior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he acknowledged the win, but he recognized it was just step one on a continuum. He relies on this fundamental rule of nature here, which is that a garden is either growing or it is actively dying.
And there's no middle ground.
No static state in biology whatsoever. And there is certainly no static state in an online business. If you aren't actively pushing forward, the natural friction of the market is just automatically pushing you backward.
But, here is where the theory hits a very harsh reality in Markel's broadcast.
The glitch.
Yeah, the glitch. He is live on camera, talking to his audience about consistency, staying prepared, navigating these unpredictable storms, and suddenly his own system completely implodes.
You really cannot engineer a better real-time stress test for a philosophy.
It's wild. So he uses this complex two-monitor setup for these daily challenges, relying heavily on a massive 55-inch secondary screen to manage his notes and the actual stream.
Which is a lot of tech to juggle.
Right. And right in the middle of his point, that screen goes completely black. Just dead.
Brutal.
And as if the hardware failure wasn't enough to derail him, the software decides to crash at the exact same time. His Facebook stream completely fails to post to his private group, so it's a total system breakdown live on camera.
This is the exact moment where the difference between a theoretical mindset and a practical mindset is completely exposed.
Wait, I need to push back on this a little bit, though.
Sure, go ahead.
If a core piece of your hardware dies and software is actively failing to broadcast to the people you're trying to reach, isn't it just pragmatic to hit pause? I mean, human nature and, honestly, basic logic tells you to apologize, unplug the router, figure out the technical glitch off camera, and just reschedule. What is the actual utility of fumbling through a live panic just to prove a point?
This raises an important question about operational resilience. Because if you view the glitch merely as a mechanical barrier, then yeah, your logic makes perfect sense. Shut it down, fix it, come back later. Right. But Markel views the glitch as a necessary test of the system's foundation. This is where he introduces this incredible concept of packing the dirt around the seed.
Okay, break down the mechanics of that for me.
So when you plant a seed in the ground, bad weather is not just a possibility.
Yeah.
Right? It is a statistical certainty.
The wind is going to blow.
Exactly. Most amateur builders, they try to construct this magical shield over their seed to block the wind. Meaning they try to create a perfect frictionless environment where tech never fails and motivation is always super high.
Which doesn't exist.
It's an impossible architecture.
Yeah.
So what's the alternative? You pack the dirt down. You compress the soil so firmly around that seed that when the wind inevitably rips through the garden, the seed itself cannot be uprooted.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, by pushing through the broadcast, fumbling with the mouse, working through the blackout, and continuing to teach. Markel was demonstrating how you pack the dirt. You build neurological resilience by refusing to let friction dictate your actions.
He actually tells his audience directly. He says, when things go dark, you still hold it together and replant the seed.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, he didn't just tell them to be resilient. He modeled the real-time execution of it. His mindset wasn't just some motivational, quote, loosely tossed over his goals. It was structurally packed down.
Exactly. A loosely tossed mindset washes away in the first minor rainstorm. A delayed email, a negative comment, a software update.
Oh, yeah. People quit over software updates all the time.
You do. A firmly packed mindset survives the hardware failure, the software crash, and the days where the metrics just completely flatline.
But here's the reality, right? Packing the dirt down, pushing through real-time failures, and showing up for 39 straight days on a daily challenge, that takes a massive cognitive and emotional toll.
Oh, absolutely. It's exhausting.
You can't just will yourself into having boundless energy every single Friday when your prefrontal cortex is completely burnt out from the work week. So where does a builder actually find that sustained energy?
Well, they need to bypass the logical brain entirely and find a completely different source of fuel. This is a really crucial distinction Markel makes when he contrasts standard industry practices with his own approach.
Right.
The broader online marketing industry, it relies on typical lead magnets, like generic logic-based PDFs or ebooks that basically just give you a vague map of what to do.
Ugh, right, those 10-page documents that end up sitting in your downloads folder forever.
Yes.
They require so much mental energy to process that you just abandon them. Instead, Markel introduces this concept he calls the Welcome to the Hustleverse Edutainment Bundle.
Such a great name.
And he uses a very specific cinematic metaphor to explain the mechanism behind it. He talks about the movie Rocky.
Classic.
We all know that iconic scene where Rocky is running up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art and that sweeping theme music is blaring. Usually we assume that music is purely for us, the audience, to, feel the emotion of the scene.
Right, the cinematic effect.
But Markel argues that Rocky isn't just running to background music. Rocky actually hears the music. It is his internalized fuel.
He is talking about the neuroscience of emotional endurance here. And Markel grounds this idea in a very visceral story from his past, long before he had any success in the online space.
Oh man, this story is intense.
It really is.
He talks about his past working as an independent courier for FedEx. He had to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, get into his Honda Odyssey in Richmond, Virginia, and drive 92 miles to Hampton, Virginia.
92 miles?
And the kicker is that 92-mile commute was just to pick up his packages.
Wow.
His actual grueling door-to-door delivery work hadn't even started yet. He was doing this drive in the pitch black through rain, sleet, and snow. And he explicitly states that music was his absolute survival mechanism.
It wasn't casual entertainment for him. It was a biological necessity to keep his brain engaged and moving forward. And that is the core architecture of edutainment.
Makes total sense.
I used to wait for permission, wait for proof, wait for perfect. But one day I wrote it down. Everything I believed I could build. And that page became my blueprint. The most valuable document I ever owned. Wasn't signed by anybody else. It was signed by me. Didn't need a crowd, just a pen and plan. The most valuable doc came from my own hand.
When you are just reading a standard PDF on, marketing strategy, your brain is expending heavy cognitive energy to process that logic. By Friday evening, that energy reserve is completely empty.
Yeah, you're running on fumes.
Well, music taps directly into the amygdala, the emotional centers of the brain. It provides a completely different type of endurance. For long-term consistency, logic simply isn't enough to keep you executing when you're that exhausted.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Most business advice online is basically just handing you a map.
Yeah.
But Markel is trying to hand you the actual high-octane gasoline needed to drive the car. He is so committed to this edutainment thesis that he includes custom unreleased albums in his bundle.
That is so unique.
He mentions an album from Ms. Hustleberry called Hustle, Tears, and Analytics, slated for 2025. He even mentions his own upcoming 2026 album. He is literally synthesizing the musical fuel that powered his 92-mile dark commutes and giving it to his audience so they don't have to rely on sheer willpower alone.
It's a highly strategic way to bypass the friction of traditional learning. But we have to transition to the next logical hurdle here.
Okay, what's that?
You can have the resilient mindset, the packed dirt. You can have the relentless energy, the edutainment fuel. But raw endurance will only get you so far before you hit a capacity wall.
That's true.
You cannot out-hustle a 24-hour day. To actually scale, you have to transition from human endurance to digital leverage.
Which brings us to the final and honestly arguably most critical piece of his framework. Treating AI not as a tool, but as a business partner.
A huge distinction.
Markel doesn't talk about AI the way most people do. He isn't using it as some novelty to write generic blog posts or, generate funny images. He treats it as a dedicated, relentless staff member.
He even names them, right?
Yeah. He gives his AI systems personas, calling them Hustlebear and Hustleberry. He talks about feeding the AI his raw vision and research, and the AI structuring that message perfectly without ever complaining or needing a coffee break.
He frames AI as the ultimate uncomplaining corporate infrastructure. And this leads directly into the tangible strategy he shares regarding the OLSP ecosystem.
Let's clarify that for a second for everyone. For context, OLSP is a massive affiliate marketing and traffic training ecosystem, right?
Correct. It's a highly structured platform designed to teach people how to generate commissions online. And Markel reveals some really exclusive behind-the-scenes intelligence from a very tight private event in the UK hosted by Wayne Crowe, the founder of OLSP.
Very exclusive.
Yeah, there were fewer than 50 people in this room. And what they were shown was a brand new AI-assisted tool set that essentially acts as an entire corporate staff.
Wait, like a whole staff?
Yeah. Yes, we are talking about an AI system that functions as your secretary to manage scheduling, your customer service department to handle inquiries, and your frontline sales team to close leads.
That's crazy.
And the entry point for this infrastructure is a $7 investment. He notes that the system is so efficient, 294 commissions had been paid out to members in just the preceding 24 hours.
Okay, wait, I have to step in here because this sounds almost too utopian.
I get that.
If this AI system can truly act as a full corporate staff handling the sales, the follow-ups, all the mechanical friction, and it's all for just $7, what is stopping a million other people from buying it tomorrow and instantly saturating the market?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. If AI is doing all the heavy lifting, acting as the secretary and the sales team, doesn't that actually require the human to be more focused on the overall vision rather than just coasting? Like, what value are you actually bringing? Are you just sitting on the beach collecting checks?
That is the exact trap he is warning against with Freedom Friday. The AI eliminates the busy work, but it absolutely does not eliminate the need for a visionary.
Right.
If you take your foot off the gas just because the AI is sending the emails, you lose your directional control. When AI democratizes execution, the human's job shifts from being the mechanic to being the architect.
I like that. Mechanic to architect.
The value you bring is your speed of implementation and your strategic vision. And to be a successful architect, you have to capitalize on new information instantly. What's fascinating here is that this is the mechanics of the first mover advantage.
Ah, so it's about being positioned before the saturation happens.
Exactly.
Markel is adamant about getting his audience to move quickly. He promotes an upcoming Thursday masterclass titled, How to Turn 7-Cent Google Clicks into Daily Profit with AI Quizzes.
Which is very specific.
Yeah, and he specifies that this relies on a 3-step framework that completely bypasses the traditional headaches of digital marketing. It doesn't require building complex funnels, it doesn't require knowing how to code, and you don't even need an existing email list.
Because the AI is handling the complex routing. But let's look at the actual mechanism of those 7-cent clicks. Why are AI quizzes able to convert traffic that cheaply?
Yeah, how does that actually work? Because getting a click for 7 cents on Google today feels basically impossible unless you are targeting incredibly obscure keywords.
It works because of dynamic pre-qualification.
Okay.
Think about it. A traditional landing page is static, right? It just hopes the user resonates with the one message on the screen.
Right, you just cast a net and hope.
An AI quiz, however, dynamically alters its questions based on the user's previous answers in real time. It diagnoses the user's specific problem, whether they need traffic, mindset coaching, or a specific tool, before offering the product as the exact personalized solution.
Oh, wow.
The conversion rate is exponentially higher because the AI is doing the consultative selling instantly. Markel tells his audience, they saw it first in the UK, now it's your turn.
Let's go back to the farming metaphor for a second.
Sure.
Getting access to this AI training before it becomes mainstream is like a farmer acquiring a revolutionary high-yield seed weeks before it hits the public market.
If you wait until everyone else is talking about AI quizzes, you are just part of the noise. Precisely. When everyone else is finally lining up to buy the seeds, your garden is already tilled, planted, watered, and yielding fruit. You capture the market share not because you worked harder, but because you didn't wait for perfect, comfortable conditions to start building. You stayed ready.
And Markel constantly rewards the people who stay ready. During the broadcast, he executes this brilliant value stacking tactic.
Oh, the Canva bonus.
Yeah. He offers a free bonus training on how to create highly realistic AI avatars using Canva completely free of monthly subscription fees. All the audience has to do is comment the word berry on his video to get it.
It's a masterclass in engagement.
It really is. He isn't just preaching about leveraging AI. He is handing his audience the immediate actionable tools to start doing it that very second.
It proves that his philosophy isn't just motivational fluff. I mean, he is giving them the packed dirt of a resilient mindset, the edutainment fuel to sustain their energy, and the AI architecture to actually scale their vision.
So, what does this all mean for you? If you are building a business, a brand, or just trying to navigate your own daily challenges, the core thread running through all of Markel's framework is undeniably clear.
Do not mistake temporary comfort for permanent security.
Exactly. Whether the sun is shining and you are hitting all your milestones, or your 55-inch monitor just died and your entire stream is crashing, the mandate remains exactly the same. You must stay planted, stay prepared, and keep building.
Keep packing the dirt.
Freedom Friday is not an excuse to take off your coat, kick back, and let the momentum die. It is the precise moment you lace up your business boots and sprint past everyone else who decided it was time to coast.
The storm is coming, whether you want it to or not. The market will shift, the tech will glitch, and your motivation will absolutely drop. The only variable you actually control is how firmly you have packed the dirt around your goals before the wind starts blowing.
If this deep dive hit home for you, don't just listen and move on. Take the lesson, plant the seed, and do something with it today.
We spent this entire conversation talking about packing the dirt around your seed to survive the inevitable storms and mechanical failures. But think about this. If your AI tools eventually become so advanced that they diagnose the problems, close the sales, and remove all the mechanical friction from your daily operations, what is the next mountain you need to conquer when daily survival is no longer the goal?
Okay, family, I'm back, and I have to say, I am truly amazed. I don't know about you. If you're not amazed at what we just heard, if that doesn't give you a sense of excitement, if that doesn't start to trigger those light bulb moments, if that doesn't paint a clearer picture in your mind as to the possibilities and the things that you have access to now, I don't know what will. If it doesn't inspire you, if it doesn't motivate you, then I'm sorry, but there's absolutely something wrong with you. What it could possibly mean is that you're destined to be the type of person that solely focuses on problems. And that might be your life journey. Now, we can't help and save everybody. Unfortunately, I used to believe, I used to think that I can help save everybody. I wanted to. Everybody that I came across that I saw that had an issue, a problem, a concern, and they would state what it was that was wrong in their lives, I would try to offer a solution. I would I would tell them more than one suggestion. Hey, here's another suggestion. Try this, try that. And I found that a lot of people simply didn't want to even try. And it boggled my mind. I started to think what is really going on. And then I realized that most people, well, I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people, they enjoy being stuck in the situation that they complain about. That that has to be a fact. A lot of people enjoy having something to complain about. Have you ever come across somebody that always has a problem, always has something going on in their lives, an issue, and it just seems like they're so excited and depressed at the same time to tell you about it. Somebody always coming up to you saying, "Man, you won't believe what happened to me. You won't believe this ish here." And they tell you about the problem, and then you offer the solution. It might be something simple. And have you ever given the person the solution and they kind of get an attitude? They kind of get upset with you because you gave them a solution, or they looked at you kind of funny, like, what you talking about? I was just trying to, I was just trying to tell you about this, they start fumbling and bumbling because all they wanted to do was complain. They wanted someone to listen to their complaints and their struggles, but they didn't want to ever have the solution to the problem. There's people that are like that. Unfortunately, we think that everybody wants something and they're willing to do just about anything to get what they want. But that's not the case. Some people like having something to complain about. Some people like being the underdog. Some people like being the minority. Some people like telling their story of pain and heartache and their woe is me stories. And they thrive off of that. They thrive off of being victims. They thrive off of, you know, showing the world or displaying to the world that, they've had it bad. And they don't want that to ever change. It's kind of like a success story. I believe it was Jim Rohn. He was giving a talk and he talked about how his success story was based off of he worked his full-time job and then he started making money doing his business. And then it came to a point where he started making more money doing his business on a part-time basis than he made from his full-time job. And this posed a new problem for him because, yes, he was doing better. He was doing better financially. He was making more money with his part-time business than he was making with his full-time job. But the story, the story at this point, he had to start changing. The story was going to get affected. See, now he built his business off of telling people about the struggle, how he had to work this full-time job and then he found a way to change things around. But then once when he got the success and he got to the point where this part-time business was, doubling what he was making at his full-time job, he didn't want to give up the full-time job. Not because, he didn't want, to focus on his business, but solely because it would take away from the story. He wouldn't be able to tell the story about how his part-time job is now making him more money than his full-time job. If he was to quit that full-time job, all of that would disappear. And for a lot of people, they resonate with the struggle so much that they want to hear about your struggle so much that they see themselves in it and that they want to be drawn towards that. They want to internalize your struggle and make it theirs. And that's part of the thing about building an online business, connecting with people, finding them where they are and finding your target audience, people that can relate to you and your story. But sometimes you get to a point where your story becomes a success story and you no longer have that, you know, trials to tribulation situation that you can continuously beat the drum on. I hear a lot of speakers talk nowadays after they've reached success, they've become so financially free and things like that. They're still telling stories about 10 years ago. They go back to where they used to be. They go back to 20 years ago where they were struggling because they don't have a new story of struggle to tell to make it relatable to the audience that they're trying to serve. But that's a whole other training right there. But I want to ask you guys, from that training session, from that podcast, I want you to think about this. That right there was a 20-minute podcast episode. Hustle Bear and Hustle Berry giving you, tips and tricks on how to live your dream and how to do things. And it's based off of my personal training. So I have to pat myself on the back because all they're doing is restating what it is that I've shared with them. My personal story, my personal trainings, my personal philosophy is not anything that the AI made up. It's not constructed out of thin air. It's based off of what I've done, what I've learned, and what I've shared with my community because I do this. Unlike a lot of people that just talk, you know, I don't want to get petty. I don't want to start getting petty, but there's people that talk a big game and they ain't been through nothing. They haven't been through anything. They might have even been in the game for years, but they haven't learned anything about the industry. They've just been going through the cycle. And because they've just been going through the cycle on a hamster wheel, they stay in the same situation, in the same position. They stay struggling because they never learn the lesson. They never learn what it is that they really need to learn in order to move to the next level. And me personally, I've learned. I've learned through trial and error. The course of my journey has been filled with so many failures that, I can share with you guys about the struggle. I can relate to the majority of people out there that's looking to start this journey or who has been on this journey for years without seeing any results. So I could connect with those people. And what I'm asking you is this: are you willing to start your journey? It's going to be hard, it's going to have challenges. But if you're willing to go through those challenges, on the other side, there will be positive results. And now we have tools that will allow us to completely deliver and provide us with time freedom, provide us with a sense of clarity, a way of presenting our struggles, our challenges, what we've learned, and being able to deliver it to our audience in a way that, they can understand it, a way that's digestible, a way that maybe we might not be able to express ourselves directly just by talking into the camera. You might have a fear of going live and talking into the camera to your particular audience. But what if you can just record your thoughts, record your information privately, and then feed it to your business partner, the AI, and have your business partner or partners deliver the message in a fun and creative way, such as this one, a podcast. If I didn't know who they were talking about, if I didn't know who they were talking about, I would want to know that person that they were talking about, even though they didn't pronounce my name correctly, but you know who they was talking about. They was talking about me. So that's the one thing. Depending on if you have a name that people can't pronounce easily or whatever, if they mispronounce your name, that's all right. That's all right. We roll with it. But when you hear it, you say to yourself, man, that's a great man. You got to pat yourself on the back because you might reflect and sit back and think to yourself, man, yeah, I know they talking about me, but wow, I didn't know that I gave such a powerful message. I didn't know that I was that deep and I gave that information. Now, me personally, I know that about me because I'm just that type of person. I know that. But you might feel as though, your message isn't valuable. You might feel as though, hey, nobody's going to really resonate with what I have to say. But once when you use the tools and you hear it played back to yourself, you might find that you have more value than you ever imagined. So, as we close out, I want to give you guys an opportunity. I want to give you guys an opportunity on this Freedom Friday to connect with me, to partner with me, and to build with me in this opportunity that we have. So it's twofold. So the first thing is I want to introduce you to some valuable tools that you can use to help build your online business that will be fun and creative so that you can have a good amount of the work kind of done for you and you don't have to stress over the content creation so much. Can I do that for you? Can I share with you what I use? Now it's not free. So if you have it in your mind that hey, everything's gonna be free, no. Me myself, I've invested tens of thousands of dollars just in my online business, and in my full-time business, I've invested hundreds of thousands over the last 5 years. I've probably invested over $500,000 into my business. When I look at the calculations, because of course every year I have to do taxes, I have to calculate everything, the expenses, and I look and I see how much was invested. I would have never imagined years ago before I started my online journey, before I started my full-time business. I would have never imagined investing more money in 1 year than I've ever earned in 10 years. That to me is crazy. That to me required me to go through a mindset shift that, you know, at first I had anxiety. I'm gonna be honest, I had anxiety about going through that process and seeing, the money go out and hoping that it was going to come back. But it came back due to the fact that I had systems in place and I have a process that allowed me to make it happen. And that's what I want to offer you guys. I want to offer you a system, a process, some tools so that you can, be as complete as possible because the only other variable is you. The tools itself, the trainings, it's already designed, it's already created, it already has proven itself to work and to do what it's supposed to do. But the only variable is the individual that actually uses those things. If you are ready to develop the proper mindset and willing to commit to the process, there can be success on the other side for you. So as we close out, I want to just ask you to start by, you know, take the small steps. Show me that you're the type of person that's, that deserves success. Because success is looking for the right person to connect with. Is looking for the person that's willing to take a step towards it. Success is one of those things that just sits there at the end of the journey. It's sitting there waiting for you to reach out to it. But it needs to know that you're the right person. So the first step in your success journey starts right here with the most valuable document in all of online marketing, the Hustler's 10-Minute a Day Challenge doc. And it starts right here with what I consider to be the second line in the doc that says grab your mega link. Now this right here, once when you click this, it only requires from you a minimal investment of just $7. Less than the cost of a cup of coffee in a lot of areas, gourmet coffee, right? But it gives you so much value. It gives you the foundational skills that you need. It gives you a bunch of other bonuses. things that you will never receive anywhere else. For one, they mention it in the podcast, that edutainment bundle, where you get, the album of the year for 2025 and the album of the year for 2026. And you get to be part of an amazing system and connect with amazing people that can help you on your journey. So you start off there. And then when you're ready to grow and progress, you do what's necessary to grow and progress. That's all I ask. For you to be the right person. Because everything else is set in stone. Everything else it is what it is. You are the only variable to your success journey. So as we close out, I want to give you guys one additional exclusive. So I told you about, my favorite AI tool getting the update, and I'm excited because when I get off of here, more than likely, I'm a pull back up my AI tool, my favorite AI tool, and I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna start playing around with it like a kid at Disneyland because I'm excited. I have something that I love doing on a daily basis, and it brings me excitement unlike anything else that I've ever experienced. And I want to help you experience that. But first, you got to take it step by step. Be willing to start the journey. But I'm going to do that, right? But I want to share with you the fruits of the labor that I put into using that particular tool. I want to give you, a taste of the fruits of the labor that I've, been working on. And this right here is going to be an exclusive, the official internal driver music video from Hustle Bear and Berry. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. And then we're going to close out as we always do. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Comment 1 if you are watching live. Put a 2 in the comment section if you're watching on a replay. And, comment hustle if you're ready to take the journey. And access the document if you ready to go. If you don't need any other, light bulb moments. If you don't need anything else to trigger that action taker's spirit in you, do what's necessary and let's get it done. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash, like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire, waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I answer that honestly? I realize purpose don't scream, it whispers. It ain't in the crowd, it's found in the mirror. It ain't in applause or validation checks. It's in what you do when there's nothing to flex. Motivation temporary, purpose permanent. One phase away, the other's inherent. You don't wake up feeling it every day, but purpose don't care how you feel anyway. It moves through you even when you're tired, even when life feels misaligned and wired. It's that quiet push you can't explain. Let's say do it again through the doubt and pain. So I stopped asking how do I feel and started asking what's real, what's mine to build, what's mine to create. That's when I found something stronger than fate. I don't need a reason. I am the reason. I am the reason. I don't need the feeling. I don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. Yeah. Now I move like it's already decided. No hesitation, no need to be guided. I built a system inside of my soul that don't break down when I'm losing control. External noise don't shake my direction. I learned to operate without the connection. Not disconnected but self-sustained. Energy internal, never drained. I don't need hype, I don't need cheers. I done built this through blood, sweat, tears. Every rep carved into my frame. Now discipline calling me by name. This what it look like when purpose drive. You ain't just working, you feel alive. Even in struggle there's something deeper. You not just moving, you moving with meaning. Listen close. Purpose don't shout, it pulls. It don't beg, it demands. And once you feel it, you can't go back. There's gonna be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway. There's gonna be days you question everything. Keep going anyway. Because the ones who make it ain't the most motivated. They the most committed to something deeper than motivation. I don't need a reason. Don't need a reason. I am the reason. Am the reason. I don't need the feeling. Don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. Move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. When the world go quiet, when the noise disappear, when nobody's watching, that's when you find out if you really got it, or if you was just borrowing it. Borrowing it.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can't quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. raised from the corner of doubt. I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom. Now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. To my PayPal pin, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spitting like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom. Now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat